Good morning, everybody. My name is Kyle Aldis. I'm the communication director here. We are just going to jump right in. Just so you know, I've actually heard a lot about your class already from some of your advisors. I have heard that this is a very powerful freshman class. Amazing. One of the advisors said, best advisory I've ever had. So just so you have an idea of how I like to do things when I do these types of events and speeches, it's very interactive. So I'm going to be kind of walking up aisles, I might be tapping on you, having you do things, and we're going to do a lot of participation this morning because I really like to make sure everybody's as engaged as possible. So the very first thing that we're going to do is we're going to play 3 games. These 3 games, I'm going to need volunteers. And I have prizes in my pockets, okay? I need a volunteer. Man, before we even start, come on now. Actually, I'll come on up. Woo! Okay, here's what we're gonna do. I'm going to ask him a question, okay? Yeah, this is a trivia question, man, okay? But the good news is this, okay? You can win this. Wow, I've never seen someone get so excited about $2 before. I love it. He has no money. Okay, so the only thing, now you need to pay close attention because you need to follow the directions that are on the screen, okay? So, yeah, okay. You're going to answer this question. Are you ready? Okay. I don't know if you're a basketball fan or not. Oh, did I choose the right guy? Yeah, I love it. Okay. No, clearly not. That's okay, that's okay. You can maybe get some help from the crowd. This could be like a phone a friend kind of deal. Okay, who won the NBA Finals this year? Wait, no, I'm gonna give him a clue, I'm gonna show him, hold on, I'm gonna show him the mascot. Actually, I'm gonna show him the mascots. Okay, who won the NBA Finals? Raptor. He said Raptors, is he correct? Sorry man, that's actually incorrect. But because nobody goes away without a prize here, here's a nice little old school SAS patch for you. You can sit back down. Yeah, the Raptors. I don't know about that. Actually, can I get another volunteer to try and answer this question? I'm gonna get Mr. Hughes. I'm gonna go up to Mr. Hughes. Let's see. Okay, Mr. Hughes, you need to answer the question, who won the NBA Finals this year? Did you guys think Mr. Hughes knows who won this? Somebody said the Phoenix Suns. We need to have a conversation after this.
I heard somebody say the Lakers.
The Lakers?
I'm going to go with, who are the Toronto Raptors?
Nailed it. Mr. Hughes, who are the Toronto Raptors? You are the proud winner of a crisp $2 bill. Mr. Hughes, don't spend it all in one place. Okay. I know, that was a little weird. I don't know why my friend up here didn't win. Let's do another one. But this time around, let's increase the stakes a little bit. So now I've got a $10 bill. Got a $10 bill. I need a ball. Oh, man, your hand was up. Let's do this. You need to come out here. Okay. Because we're going to stick with the theme of basketball. Come here. Oh, yeah. Now, I didn't plan this, but how fortunate are we that we actually have this makeshift basketball hoop right here on the ground. Look, all you have to do is get this ball into this, whatever this thing is, okay? You can do this however you would like. Are you ready? Did you do it? Actually, I'm sorry, that's not right. That's not right. But you do get a pass. Wow, she's so... Wow, nailed it. Hey, thank you. Okay, I'm going to need another volunteer. Oh, Miss Colorado. Come on down. Dang, give it up for Miss Colorado. Okay, Miss Colorado, all you have to do is get this ball. These are pretty simple instructions, guys. Shoot the ball into my makeshift basket right here. Hey, Kyle. Kobe, good. $10 from Miss Colorado. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. I can see the look of disappointment. I'm so sorry. You were like right there, but you weren't quite right there. But it's okay. It's okay because I got $20 now. Hey, I decided we're gonna make the last one as easy as possible. Volunteer right here. Woo! Follow the directions on the screen. Are you ready? Okay. You sure you're ready? Okay, she's ready. I'm gonna need you to spell your first name for me. Do it slowly. Do it slowly. I'm gonna pass this mic.
K-R-Y-I-S-H-A.
I'm so sorry. Oh, snap. But don't worry, hey, here's a vintage badge for you. For your trouble. Can I get another volunteer? Let's try this again. Dang. I see Mr. Papator. Where's Mr. Papator? I just saw him. I just need you to spell your first name. I just want to make sure it's super clear. Spell your first name. Are you clear, Mr. Hamilton?
Crystal.
Thank you, Kyle. J-E-F-F.
Did he get that? Nailed it. I bet you didn't see that one coming, did you? Okay, what just happened? I had 3 students. You literally did. Oh, check out. Did I already know who the winners were gonna be? How crazy is that? I know, you're not surprised. So here's what we're gonna talk about. You guys knew the explicit rules that I gave you. I told you these rules. Answer this question. Shoot this ball into this basket. Spell your first name. What you didn't know were these rules that were hidden. But just so happens that I shared those rules beforehand with Mr. Hughes, Miss Colorado, and Mr. Habitoy. And so they knew beforehand. So maybe you caught on to this. Who are the Toronto Raptors? Miss Colorado was kind enough to say my name as she tossed the ball into this thing, whatever this is. And then Ms. Papatoy, thank you for the opportunity. How many of you guys have ever been in a situation where you have done something, you thought, I'm following everything that my teacher or someone else asked me to do, and someone else, a peer, or someone else is doing the exact same thing, and you guys get different grades, or you get different comments? Somebody looks at you and says, yeah, that's not gonna work, that didn't work. And yet the other person seems to have nailed it. Have you guys ever experienced that before? I've experienced that in work situations, where I've done what I feel to be the same exact performance as somebody else, and yet they're the ones who got the raise. And I wasn't quite sure what happened. And so what we're actually going to talk about today is we're going to talk about hidden rules. Hidden rules for success. Things that maybe someone else knows that maybe you don't know. And maybe that's why they got the promotion and you didn't. Maybe that's why they got the good grade on the presentation and you didn't. And if you can learn these now, you'll find that you'll be way ahead of the game later on. Okay, so I actually want to start with a little bit of a story. A couple years ago, I had the chance to work with a student who had just moved to SAS. How many of you are brand new freshmen to SAS? First time at SAS, raise your hand. Woo! Okay, this is very, very applicable to you, and basically for everyone else too. Okay, so he moved here. We had a chance to work pretty closely together for the entire 2 years. So over the course of the 2 years, I saw, and the guy that I'm talking about is the one in the very middle. He's got the girl with the eagle on her face kind of dangling off him. He was a house president. I saw him end up playing sports. I saw him become pretty beloved amongst his peers and amongst teachers. He was on the homecoming court. He was kind of a lead in the senior video, however you would describe lead. And he experienced a lot of success during his 2 years here. But it had to happen really quickly, right? Because if you just move here, you don't have a whole lot of time to actually make things happen. So by the time he got to the end of his senior year, and we were in one of our last meetings, I asked him, hey, how did you do this? Because I've seen students come here and not experience the same kind of experiences or success. And I was wondering, how did you integrate yourself so quickly into the school? And so he said that, look, I knew that he moved the summer before his junior year, and he said, I knew that if I was moving at that point, most people are pretty established in their friend groups already. And as you've noticed, that the classes that move in at junior and senior year, they're pretty small. So it's not a lot of kids moving in during that time. And so he said, I knew that if I was going to make friends, that I actually had to get better at making friends. That I was going to need to practice making friends. So he said, I bought a book. He bought this book. I know. Some of you are laughing. When he told me, I was like, really? You read that book? And he said, not only did I read it, he said, I read it and I decided I'm going to do literally everything that this book tells me to do, and I'm just going to see what happens. And he said that from day one, from his very first day on campus, that it started working. And he was like, girls were talking to me. I was making friends. He was like, it was nuts. And so then I decided I'm going to double down on this, and I'm going to keep going, keep doing more. Okay, so all of this sounds crazy, right? He read a book. He decided, I need to get better at making friends. I'm just going to practice it, and we're going to see what happens. And it seems to have worked for him. Okay, so the hidden rule that we're going to talk about today is this. Building meaningful connections is a learnable skill. Wow. Not the reaction I was looking for. Oh, yeah, there we go. Wow. Actually, I kind of knew I was going to get that reaction. I knew I was going to look at it and be like, really? That's your hidden rule? I understand. But think about this for a second. How many of you have actually sat down and in your head said, you know what? I'm not so good at making friends. I think I'm going to buy a book. I'm going to practice it. It's a learnable skill, and I will, too, develop this skill the way I've developed my ability to understand chemistry and other subjects in school. My guess, don't answer out loud, my guess is that not a lot of you have actually given it that level of thought. And so it may not be such a hidden rule, but it is a rule that's not so widely used. And so what we're going to do today is talk a little bit about some of the hidden rules of connecting and how you can connect, all right? So I like to always start with why, because some of you might actually be sitting there thinking, I don't actually need this. I am so smart, I will be able to conquer everything I need to do by myself. I'm that talented. And some of you actually are probably that smart. But there's some other things that play here that we need to figure out, and there's some whys that I think you're gonna see why making meaningful connections is actually a very important skill, life-changing skill. Okay, so first, like I said, we're gonna do a lot of neighbor talk. So I want you to turn to a neighbor, and I want you to talk and figure out what you think is one of the leading causes of premature death. Premature death. Go. Remember I said premature death, so if one of you says old age, it's not going to work. Okay, I want somebody shout out one. Depression. Premature death. Okay, yeah, that. What was it? Vaping. Mr. Lee, where are you at? Mr. Lee. Oh, snap. She got it. Some of you might have said obesity, smoking, heart disease. Those are some of the usuals. I heard loneliness actually a couple times. Did you know that there was a meta-study done? A meta-study is a study of studies. About 194 different studies, 300,000 participants. And they found that those individuals who had a meaningful connection experienced a 50% increase in their likelihood of survival. That would be continuing to live. So just having a meaningful connection allowed them to be able to make it past that threshold of premature death. What I'm sensing right now is that not a lot of you are particularly worried about premature death. So I'm going to move on to my next point. So what I want you to now talk about, Miss Colorado's worried about premature death. The next question I want you to talk about is this. At SAS, you are now freshmen here. What is something that you worry about as a student in the high school at SAS? Turn to a neighbor. What do you worry about? Okay, let's throw a few of these out on the table. What are some things that you worry about? Right. Now there it was. I didn't even have to ask for a second one. Most of you guys are worried about your grades. Can I ask and just shout it out, why are you so worried about your grades? Somebody said marriage? Oh, parents. Somebody said marriage and I was like, wow. I would not have ever gotten married if my GPA was the deciding factor there. Okay, I heard parents getting into college. Okay, let me share something with you. There was a study done of Stanford Business School, that's the MBA program, graduates. Did you know that the acceptance rate for the Stanford Business School is about 6%? So the majority of us would never even get into that place. 6%. They did a 20-year study, and they looked for what led to professional success. What are some of the indicators from their time at Stanford that led to professional success later? Can I tell you what's not on the list? Where there was absolutely zero correlation? Freaking GPA. Yeah. GPA did not have any correlation to professional success. Why is that important? Do you know what actually did? What was the leading? This is how they described it, because this is like research talk. Interpersonal verbal fluency was the leading indicator. Leading indicator. Do you know what interpersonal verbal fluency is? It's just our ability to talk to each other. You and I talking to each other. We are interpersonally, verbally fluent at the moment. Well, as soon as you start responding back. There we go. Nailed it. Nailed it. Okay, so the ability to connect is actually more of an indicator. So I'm just going to throw this out there. If Stanford MBA graduates with 4.0s who left and it was determined that there was no correlation to professional success, I'm just going to throw this out there. Your GPA, let me first say this, it matters a little bit. It does for all the teachers and everyone else's parents. It does matter a little bit. It is not the indicator for success lifelong. So when you're all wrapped up in this, there are other things that you can be more wrapped up in than just your GPA. Okay? And so just so that we're clear, we're by connecting, we're avoiding debt. That was number one. That I thought was a good one. GPA, obviously connecting. I think that there are other things more valuable maybe than the GPA. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to connect right now with each other. How many of you guys remember Mr. Gray? Anybody know Mr. Gray? Dang, dude. Yeah, give it up for Mr. Shout out to Mr. Gray. No longer here anymore. We love you, Mr. Gray. I know. Mr. Gray has an amazing smile. Those of you who knew Mr. Gray, amazing smile. The very first thing that we're going to talk about today is smiling. Because I wanted to talk about something that actually involved no speaking at all. Because there are some of you who might be here today and you might be saying, I'm an introvert. This entire discussion does not apply to me at all. And so we're leading with something that applies to everybody, whether you are introvert, extrovert, tall, small, everything in between, okay? Smiling. When you walk down the hallway, what happens when you see somebody? Have you guys ever had this interaction before? You're walking down the hallway and you see somebody on the other side. You know them. If you know them, it's like, oh, hey, what's up, man? If you don't know them, it's like, grab my phone. Or if it's somebody that you don't want to see at all, it's like, okay. And we're done. Even if they've spotted you, it's like, I don't need this right now. Okay, those are different reactions. Researchers at the University of Wisconsin found this. When you and I are in the hallway together, and we walk, and we spot each other, and we're kind of walking toward each other, it's like, dun, 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 dun. I look up, and I smile, even without her realizing it, and even covering her mouth just a touch. There's just like this light, there's like a glimmer in her eyes right now. You may not see it because it's dark. She's glimmering. Give it up for the glimmer! The reason that happens, according to University of Wisconsin, they said that the reason that happens is that in the milliseconds that we spot each other, right across the way, we spot each other, she just smiled. I didn't even have to do anything, she just smiled. You mimic what someone else does. We engage in mimicry. Our brains, before you even know what you're thinking, before you even decided, I am not doing this, and you turn around, your brain has already processed something by looking at who's in front of you. If you know that, what does that mean for you? It means you can flip the situation a little bit. Because if you know that you're going to react to somebody else, you know that they're going to react to you. So it could be something as simple as you decide, you know what? I'm going to engage in this smile exercise. And you might think this is crazy, but that kid who I was talking about, he said, I just went around, I was smiling at everybody. And he did it, and it worked. It worked. So here's what we're going to do. You're going to turn to your partner who you've been talking to. You are going to exchange smiles with one another. Yes, it's that crazy. Exchange smiles. Yes, nailed it. Wow, nailed it. Didn't even have to look at each other, smiles just came. Got it. Naturally. Guys, first off, that was amazing. Secondly, let's just say the majority of you will probably leave here today and you'll be like, I'm not going to do anything that was just talked about this morning. That's okay. My hope is that there are one or two of you who are going to become like smile commandos, and you are just out there smiling at everybody, and you are going to find that it will make a massive difference in your life. No words necessary. You become known as the person who's just smiling at everybody. But that's kind of a great way to be remembered like 20 years down the line, right? Okay, so smiling. The next one. What is the most important word that you could hear? What's the most powerful word you can hear? Hello! That was a powerful way to say hello. That was a very powerful, I love it. Is it hello? Have a good day? Kyle is the most powerful word in the English language is Kyle. Okay. Hold on. I can tell some of you are finding your names right now on the screen. Do you know how long it took me to look all your names up? Okay. Whoa. Yes, the energy, I love it. Okay. Guess what? The most powerful word is not Kyle, but it is your name. So here's what I'm going to share. There was a study done by the Neuroscience Institute. They found that, do you guys know what someone who is in a vegetative state, do you know what that means? Basically brain dead, right? Yeah, they are basically brain dead. So get this. Researchers went in and worked with these participants, and they read them a list of names. And as they were reading the list of names, they actually had a brain scanner going. And they were looking for any kind of activity, just to see what would happen. Reading through the names, John, Jacob, Jingleheimer, Schmidt. And then they said the person's name, and suddenly the brain activated. Do you guys know how nuts that is? It's that nuts. Say it again. It's whack. It's so whack. Look, someone who has absolutely no awareness, physically, mentally, emotionally, no awareness. They're in a room and suddenly they hear their name said and it triggers their brain and their brain fires. That's crazy. That tells you, for those of you who are not in a vegetative state, which is some of you, that tells you how powerful it is to hear your name. So guess what? The next thing we're going to do, I'm sure some of you are sitting by your friends already. Turn back to your neighbor. If you know their name, say their name. Wow, okay. There's a lot of brains firing right now. Okay, I got it. Okay, the next thing that we're going to talk about. Some of you might be saying right now, you know what, you've told me to smile and you've told me to say somebody's name. That will get me 2 seconds into a conversation, and that's not going to last very long. I'm going to need a little bit more help than just, hey, Kyle, right? You won't make it too far, I understand. So I'm going to give you the next tip, the next trick, okay? This is how you can get through any conversation, okay? First off, you make that face. Secondly, you say, tell me more. I know. You probably have heard this before. She just said, tell me more, and so I will tell you more. Okay, did you know, if you were to say, what is the topic that is most spoken about when you are speaking, what are you talking most about? What? Nailed it. Somebody said yourself, okay? A study done through the Harvard Neuroscience Institute, they found that 60% of all conversation is about you. And when you do this, that when you are speaking about yourself, they actually had people do this. The participants had to sit in a room, their brains were all hooked up to some scanners and things, and they had to talk about a topic. But when they spoke about the topic, they were asked to speak about it in relation to themselves, and then they were asked to speak about the topic in relation to someone else, okay? So it'd be like me saying, oh, I play basketball and I do this, or me saying, Mr. Hughes plays basketball and Mr. Hughes does that, okay? Do you want to know what happens, what the difference is? What they found is that the pleasure center of your brain lights up like a Christmas tree when you are speaking about yourself. I'm just gonna, somebody said that's horrible. Hey, that's nature. Let me do this. This is quoting the study. So what I'm about to say, don't like run home and be upset about this. This is quoting the study. They said that when that part of your brain fires, it's exactly the same type of pleasure that you might experience eating really good food, doing hard drugs, or engaging in, I'm not even going to say it because I don't want to get in trouble. I'm not going to say it, Mr. Lee, I didn't even say it. What I will say is this. Whoa. What I will say is this. That's crazy. This Colorado, that's crazy. That means this. And the concept of tell me more is this, is that when you're in a conversation, all you really need to do is get the other person talking about themselves. Because when that happens, they start to get very excited and they're happy to talk about what's going on. And what happens is they associate that great feeling with being around you. And so they go, wow, I had an amazing time. And you may not have even said anything. Do you guys know who Benjamin Disraeli is? Yeah, oh, yeah, Miss Colorado, wow. Thank you, Miss Colorado. She knows everything. Okay, he was prime minister. He actually had an experience where he went on a date with a woman, and actually one of his political rivals went on a date with a woman. The papers went, and they asked the woman, hey, who do you like better, Benjamin or William Gladstone? And she came back and she said, well, when I was on a date with William, I knew that he was the smartest person in the room. I knew it. And she said, when I was with Benjamin, I left feeling like I was the most important person in the room. Oh, I know. Guys, that's how you can, some of you are gonna need help getting girls someday. I promise you, I'm looking around. Okay, the importance of that is this, is that when you're engaging in a conversation with somebody, it's not about you. It's not about you. Even though your brain is telling you, I just got to keep talking. I just got to keep saying things about me because this is amazing right now. Stop for a second and say, tell me more. And that's going to lead to the next part, which is listening. I know. Number 4, the fourth greatest secret of them all. Listening. Turn to a partner. I want you to answer this question. Turn to your partner, answer this question. How do you know when someone's actually listening to you? Go. How do you know that someone is listening to you? How? Eye contact. That's a good one. I like it. And she was like looking at me as she was saying it. That was a really good demonstration. She modeled it. Body language. That could be its own, like, that's its own talk at some point. Body language. What else? They ask you questions. And you're kind of agreeing with them, like, yeah, of course, I also think that's amazing. That is amazing. Yeah. What else? I actually haven't heard the one I'm looking for yet, which is crazy. Posture. That's also a good one, but not what I'm looking for. What was that? Oh, restating what they said. That's actually a classic communication technique. Yes. Here's the one I'm looking for. How many of you guys, I decided to do some research. So this is some research that was done literally on campus. So I went to the cafeteria and I sat on the top and I looked down. And here's what I saw. I saw a situation that looked kind of like this. Group of students, no names mentioned, probably none of you. Someone was sitting there and it looked like this. Conversation happening all around, group of students sitting around. Da, da, da. Oh yeah, I totally think so too. Yep. Scroll. Like. Yep. Gotta keep my streaks alive. What? Yep. Yeah, you know who you are. Trying to keep those streaks alive. Here's what I saw. I saw these crazy conversations, and I was trying to wrap my head around what was going on because people were engaged in the conversation because I could see them looking up, but they were still doing the stuff on their phone, and I couldn't process the back and forth. Guys, the way that you know that someone's actually listening to you is they just simply remove the distractions, or you remove the distractions. This is not, we've cited a lot of brain research today, but that one's not brain science. You just set down the phone, or you set down whatever it is, and you actually engage with the person directly. Okay. What I'm going to do is recap. Today, you smiled at one another, which was awesome. I could feel the brains firing as the smiles happened. Then we said some names, because that was also a good way to get the brains firing. Then, dude, these guys right here, they're nailing it. Then we talked about, tell me more. Yep. Tell me more. Tell me a little bit about it. You did that little face. Then we talked about listening and the value of listening. Okay? What I'm sensing though is that there's probably some of you here who might be thinking, that's great for people who have the confidence or the bravery to actually look up and smile. But there might be just some who might fall into that introverted category, and you might wonder, how am I even supposed to do this? So, when I need an answer to a question, I usually go to the movies, and in this case, I went to Matt Damon because, that's why I went to Matt Damon, because I knew I would get that response. So I'm going to play this clip for you. How many of you have seen We Bought a Zoo? Wow, uncultured. Just kidding. Wow, that backfired. I will not use that joke again. I get it. Okay, watch this clip, because this clip is for for all of us. Actually, I watched this clip and I need this clip. All right.
Guess I didn't listen to something she told me or something. I liked her. It's like you embarrass yourself if you say something. Embarrass yourself if you don't.
Now, all you need 20 seconds. Staying courage. Just literally 20 seconds of just embarrassing bravery. And I promise you, great confidence.
Guys, wow, is it? Yeah, I know, he nailed it, right? Totally. Look, I get it. There's a couple things that actually I really like about that little clip. One is that the kid clearly likes this girl. He's like, it's either embarrassing when I say something or it's embarrassing when I don't. Maybe you will not admit this, but I imagine many of you have been in a similar position. I have been in that exact position where I thought, I can't win. I say something, I'm going to embarrass myself. If I don't say something, I also look like an idiot. And the comment about 20 seconds of insane courage or insane bravery is actually, it's so true in everything that you do. Everything. And maybe it's not 20 seconds. To do the smile, sometimes I have to, as I walk down the hall, if I'm not in the right frame of mind or I'm not having a good day, and maybe I see someone coming toward me who I know doesn't like me, and I have to go, oh snap, because I can't turn and run. Because then they're like, whoa, Mr. Aldis is running away from me right now. I have to walk forward and have to be like, hi, tell me more. And then I do all my things all at once. Sometimes you have to have that 20 seconds, that 2 seconds. So here is your final activity for today. You aren't going to do it right now. This isn't happening right now. This is an assignment for today. And there are standards to this assignment. Shout out to the standards-based approach. You today find something, whatever it is. Maybe it's smiling at somebody, maybe it's having a conversation that you've been putting off because you didn't want to have that conversation because it was going to be a tough conversation. Maybe it's saying hey to somebody who you don't know already. Maybe somebody who's new, who you notice is by themselves and they need a little kind of boost in their day, but it takes a little bit of courage on your part. 20 seconds of insane courage. My challenge to you is to do that today. Can you imagine what our school would be like, what the culture would be like if everybody embraced just one or two of the things that we talked about today? You can literally change the face of a school with some of this stuff. Imagine some of you out there smiling today, saying hey, having conversations, putting down some distractions, and embracing that 20 seconds of courage. I promise you, just like Matt Damon promised you, that if you have and you embrace the 20 seconds of insane courage, that something great will happen. Okay? Thank you guys for coming this morning and for playing your game. You guys have a great day. Go be courageous. Thank you, thank you.
What's remarkable is that she totally used it for inclusivity.
See, and I love that. That's when the stories are good.
Like the new version of Tom is like, oh look, I got 2 left feet, and they're doing it with immediately like, hey, new kid, come over here. Like, hey, look at him, he's got 2 left feet. He's our friend. And she's very beautiful with all of the left feet. And man, it just hurts to see the way she leveraged that